welcome back to Dukaskorpi TV. I'm Monica Gibson. Tatjana Sachse joins me in the studio right now. Tatjana, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be back.
Now you join us here, you're an associate with Sidley Austin. We're going to talk about the WTO and the latest agreement. Can you sum it up for us, please? The Environmental Goods Agreement. What can you tell us about it, please, Tatjana?
Sure. Now, the agreement is currently under negotiation. It aims to liberalize trade in environmental goods. It was announced back in January 2014 on the sidelines of the meeting of the World Economic Forum, and it was officially launched on 8th of July at the WTO. It has 14 participants. It has 3 large trading blocs as participants, the United States, the European Union, and China. And it also has other participants that are important trading nations, such as Australia, New Zealand, Canada. It has Costa Rica, Hong Kong, Chinese Taipei, Japan, Korea, Singapore, and Switzerland. Now, the agreement builds on the APEC list of 54 environmental goods. Now, the aim of the APEC list is to reduce tariffs on those goods to 5% or less by 2015. Now, the WTO agreement is much more ambitious in that it not only aims to eliminate tariffs on products, but it also intends to significantly broaden the scope to way more than 54 environmental goods.
Now, you mentioned some of the tariffs on the products, but what can you tell us about the actual products which are covered by this?
That's currently under negotiation. There are several negotiation rounds which have taken place. The second round has just concluded last week. Now, in effect, each participant would propose a list of environmental goods they would like to see included. And then later on, the list would be subject to negotiation and agreement by other members. Now, at the moment, there's 3 criteria for including products on the environmental goods list. That is, it has to be environmentally credible, it has to be commercially significant, and it has to be implementable at the border.
Now, you mentioned also that this is quite an ambitious agreement. Given the fact that you mentioned also 14 members have signed on, is it going to be a meaningful conclusion to your mind? And what about the sort of criticisms from the other states who haven't actually gotten on board yet? Were they right in their criticism?
I think, although you're right, the number seems quite small, 14 members, but all the participating members, the 14, they constitute about 90% of the countries that are exporting environmental goods. And just to give you an idea of how significant the global trade in environmental goods is, at the moment it amounts to approximately $1 trillion a year. And the expectation is that it may even triple to 3 trillion by as early as 2020. And although it's at the moment only 14 participating members, of course, the negotiations are open for any other WTO member to join. And I think what's also significant is, and that's why I think actually some of the criticism by others is misplaced, the participating members have confirmed that any benefits of the agreement, that means zero import tariffs, would be extended to other WTO members on an MFN basis. Now, MFN means most favored nation treatment, which means that any benefits you accord one WTO member, you have to accord to any other WTO member on a non-discriminatory basis. So in effect, those WTO members that are outside the agreement still obtain the benefit, the zero tariff, without actually having to pay for through trade-off in the negotiations.
I see, very good. Now, that's some of the benefits, but what impact could a successful conclusion have on, for example, the environment, and some other areas as well?
I think you're very right, Monica. I think the biggest impact will be, of course, first of all, on the environment. It will not only allow cheaper access to environmental goods, because some of the tariffs on environmental goods are as high as 35 to 40%. So, of course, bringing the tariffs down to zero would significantly increase access, would significantly reduce the price of those products. I think it would also contribute towards the diffusion of innovative environmental goods, innovative technologies that can then be used for mitigating and also adapting to climate change. So that then, of course, then also has a knock-on effect on meeting every participant's targets with respect to climate change and their energy targets. Now, of course, if you then also in turn have access to those environmental technologies, it means that you reduce your dependency on fossil fuels, which of course is also under discussion or has been under discussion recently with respect to discussions on global energy and also climate change. Now, that's the environmental portion, I think, of the benefits. I think another benefit is just the systemic implications for the WTO, because the agreement, of course, is focused on environmental goods, but I think it also demonstrates that the WTO is still relevant for negotiations on certain trade-related issues. It demonstrates that the WTO can deliver on an agreement such as this one, and it also may provide an impetus to the WTO negotiations in other areas, because as we've seen very recently, we cannot allow one member to hold multilateral trade negotiations hostage.
Exactly. Now, it sounds ambitious, but also very interesting. And thank you, Tatjana, for coming into the studio today and telling us all about it. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Monica.
Thank you. Okay, well, that's all from Tatjana and myself for the moment, but make sure you keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV for many more exclusive interviews. Goodbye for now.